city in a Batmobile. Even though it get crazy, niggas don't talk like Swayze.
It is a goddamn celebration for KayFlockington. And a deal, hey. It's a celebration, guys. It's a celebration. It's a celebration. Now, the last time that we spoke, right? We spoke about the charges. We spoke about the charges, you know what I'm saying? The count 1, the count 2, the count 3, the count 4, and the count 5. Now we know, you know what I'm saying? This is before the new developments. Before the new developments that came through this weekend, right? We knew that count 1, Rico, he was found guilty. Count 2, murder in aid of racketeering. And I explained all of that when it came to the murder in aid of racketeering. They was basically trying to blame the Waska killing on furtherance of the gang, furtherance of the organization. You get what I'm saying? The government was not able to prove that, so he was found not guilty of that, right? Now, the count 3, use of firearm resulting in death, he was found guilty. Count 4, RPT shootings, he was found guilty. Count 5, the gun charge, he was found guilty. Well, guys, it looks like they have withdrew count 3. They withdrew count 3. Now, you guys remember when I was talking to y'all, I said, look, if they would have just said, if he would have been found not guilty for count 3 and count 2, then that would be way better, because at the end of the day, he's not at least having a body on his body, you know? And KayFlock, before the new developments came in, KayFlock was jacking that, you know, he beat the body. A lot of people were sitting there posting within their headlines, hey, murder, not guilty, this, that, and the third. However, when it came to count 2, murder in aid of racketeering, not guilty, just meant that they was trying to place the Waska shooting and his death and like bunch it up into this RICO charge that they're trying to give him at the end of the day, right? The jury used their brains during deliberation and sat there and said, no, that's not the case. What happened with him and Waska was a separate incident and had nothing to do with gang retaliation or furtherance of the operation of the gang, right? However, he was still facing the body when it came to use of firearm resulting in death. Well, guys, oh happy day, oh happy day, oh happy day, oh happy day, when Jesus got, when Jesus, yo, we have some great news for KayFlock, as you guys can see, right? And I'm gonna just read it straight from my caption that I put. Great news for KayFlock. New developments show the government withdrew count 3. Apparently, now he is only found guilty for 3 out of the 5 counts. He is still technically on paper, technically still facing life, right? But this is a huge win for KayFlock. Keep in mind his co-defendants were handed sentences up to 14 years for the same charges KayFlock was found guilty of. And those were plea deals. KayFlock took it to trial. They are labeling KayFlock as the leader of DOA. So even though he is no longer facing that body, keep him in your prayers. So what this means right here is that he's definitely not going to get life. He's not going to get life, y'all. I'm just going to keep it a buck with you. I'm just going to be honest. He's not getting life. See, the life shit that we was talking about when it came to this right here, the life was considering this use of firearm resulting in death. The reason why this was a possibility is because of this right here. Hold on. Let me get to it for you. Use, carry, or possession possesses a firearm in retaliation to or in furtherance of a drug felony or federal crime and violence. Now, look, punishment ranges from at least 5 years up to life imprisonment without parole or death, and if death results from use of firearm. They threw that out, y'all. They threw that out. They threw it out. They withdrew the count 3. The main thing I was talking to you guys about on the last live, they threw it out. So now all Flock has to face is this RICO, the RPT shootings, and the gun charges when it comes to his sentencing. That happens, I believe, on July 18th. Now this news, we went live on Friday, right? This news literally came in, I'll say, was it today or very, very late yesterday. So, at the end of the day, we're still right on our end and everything like that. However, now that this has been withdrawn, yo, bro, he doesn't have to sit there and face this judge. When he's sitting there trying to, come up with his sentencing, he doesn't have to face this count 3, guys. This is not only a win, but this is a huge win for KayFlock right now. I'm not going to hold you. Now let's read what Inner City Press said, right? For those asking, Kevin Perez / KayFlock was only convicted of counts 1, 4, and 5. 3 counts out of the 5, y'all. Not guilty on count 2. What's count 2, y'all? Was count 2? Murder in aid of racketeering. We already knew that. We already knew he wasn't guilty of that, right? But he sat there and said, and count 3 dropped away. What's count 3, y'all? Use of firearm resulting in death. Pay attention. Lock in, chat. Lock in right now. Lock in. I went to the bar and got, not to the bar, like my little mini bar that I got inside the crib. I sat there and poured myself a drink behind this news right here. I'm not going to hold you. Look at this. There was some confusion by the jury. Below is a note about error in the verdict form, paperback coming. Now let's check that out, right? This is what they're saying. I understand that you have reached a verdict. I also understand that you made an error in completing the first verdict form. I am providing you a new verdict form. If you have reached a verdict, you are to complete this form and place it in a sealed envelope and inform the court security officer when you are ready. You are to leave the incorrectly completed verdict form in the jury room, and my courtroom deputy will discard it. Guys, look at God. Look at God. Inshallah. That's my son right here said. Inshallah. Look at that. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. Jury verdict as to Kevin Perez. 1. Guilty on counts 1, 4, 5. Kevin Perez not guilty on count 2. And now, count 3. Wow. Wow. Now, as you can see right here, the jury delivered a unanimous verdict and finds defendant Kevin Perez guilty as to counts 1, 4, and 5, and not guilty as to counts 2 of the indictment. And the government withdrew count 3 of the indictment. They withdrew it. Wow. Wow. Look at God. Look at God. Wow. This is some monumental shit right here. I'm not going to hold you. Because you guys understand what I told you guys before, right? When it came to the count 2, the U.S. government did bad on that one. They were sitting there trying to group in the shooting that happened with Waska into the RICO. It didn't work. The jury during deliberations was smart enough to come to the conclusion that those two things are separate incidents, separate things. You can't put one and two together. Like I gave you the example before in the last live. If I'm a part of ABC gang and I shoot somebody in the club because he stepped on my sneakers and say ABC gang Puerto Rico, they Puerto Rico. Just because we all in a Rico now doesn't mean that this guy who stepped on my shoes and I shot him dead, doesn't mean that that had anything to do when it came to the organization of the ABC gang. You can't bunch that in. And I sat there and I said, but bro, at the end of the day, the reason why we was like, yo, is he a little delulu? Is he a little delusional? Is niggas, is like, is his lawyers giving him like, you know, the right info or anything like that? The reason why I said that is because the count 3 was still on the table. Use of firearm resulting in death was still on the table. The body was still on the table. But it's no longer on the table, y'all. It is no longer on the table. Wow. Wow. Crazy. Crazy. Crazy work. Now, as you know, as you guys know from the paperwork, right? This is where they sitting there, you know, speaking of, because, you know, the jury verdict, count 1, racketeering conspiracies, you know what I'm saying, or whatever have you. Guilty. Proven guilty for that, right? However, they sat there and said, if and only if you find defendant Kevin Perez guilty of count 1, did the pattern of racketeering activity include the murder of Waska? No. Meaning no. The murder of Waska was a separate incident that had nothing to do when it comes to furtherance of the gang or the organization. Count 2. Hold on, where's my mouse at? There we go. Count 2. Murder in aid of racketeering, Waska, not guilty. That comes from here. That comes from here. If and only if you find defendant, you know what I'm saying, KayFlock basically, guilty of count 1, did the pattern of racketeering activity include the murder of Waska? They said no, and that's how we got the not guilty verdict with the count 2, murder in aid of racketeering. He did not kill Waska in furtherance of the gang or the organization. That's how we got off on that one. However, count 3, violent crimes in aid of racketeering, he was found guilty. Assault with a dangerous weapon, found guilty. Attempt murder, proved. You get what I'm saying? So it was like at the end of the day, the body was still on the table. It was still on the table. Use of firearm resulting in death, the body was still on the table. Because if it was just like, oh, use of firearm, then it would have probably just been an RPT shoot. That would have just been in the RPT shooting count and the gun charge count. However, they separated it and made a count 3 saying the use of firearm resulting in death. So they were still trying to keep that body on the table for the judge to consider when it came to his sentencing. It is no longer there, guys. It is no longer on the table. When sentencing come in July, the judge is going to have to sit there and disregard the fact that Flock took Mr. Hernandez's life. He's going to have to disregard that. The only things that he's going to have to sit there and, you know what I'm saying, take into consideration is the RICO guilty charge, the RPT shooting guilty charge, and the gun charge that he was guilty for. The count 2 and count 3 is out the window, guys. Wow. 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 I don't know about y'all, but this is a W. Because at the end of the day, even though technically, don't get me wrong, technically, he is still facing life. Technically. But when he had that body on him, you know what I'm saying? That was like a real possibility that the judge could just wake up on the wrong side of the bed that day and sit there and be like, yo, you know what, fuck it. Give this nigga life. If he got caught for the, not caught, but if he was found guilty For the count 2, when it came to murder in aid of racketeering, that's mandatory life. Mandatory. That means the judge would have had to give him it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He would have had to sit there and throw the book at him and give him that shit. Now, the count 3 use of firearm resulting in death, again, that's still a body that we talking about. He was found guilty at the time, but they withdrew it. They withdrew it, y'all. This is crazy. Now, as you can see, right, my thing is this. Is KayFlock totally out the woods? No. Is he totally out the woods? No. I'm not going to sit there and try to, like, you know what I'm saying, feed, what would you say, force information or information that people just want to hear because that's just what they want to hear. That's not what we're here for. We're here for credibility. This is a black-owned media platform, and we have to do what we need to do. We have to sit there and make sure that we're accurate when it comes to things. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he's totally out the woods, because at the end of the day, they're painting him as the leader of DOA. As you can see from here, right here. Kevin Perez, a.k.a. KayFlock, was the leader of a neighborhood street gang known as Southside/DOA. And with that gang, he committed a series of gang-motivated shootings. Perez, a drill rapper, instilled fear across the community with his violent actions, and then threatened rivals, bragged about shootings, and taunted victims in his rap lyrics. But as of a unanimous jury has now found, Perez no longer can hide behind his music, and instead will be held accountable for his violent crimes, thanks to the hard work of the career prosecutors, and blah, 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 blah. So he's not totally out the woods, because like I mentioned to you guys before, y'all, one of his coldees, which is Zay Munna, a.k.a. Isaiah Rawson, right? In the city press, he sat there and he said, he just witnessed a 14-year sentence being handed down to Zay Munna. And you got to understand, Zay Munna took a plea deal. Also, his other coldee, Eroy, however you want to sit there and pronounce it, he was sentenced to 12 years after pleading guilty to racketeering and attempted murder. Now, these are situations where KayFlock himself has pled guilty to. So he's not totally out the woods yet, all right? Because if they're giving these niggas up to 15 years for plea deals, and KayFlock was the individual who sat there and decided to take it to trial, I can only imagine what they're going to try to hit him with. However, he no longer has that body on the table. So this is what I'm thinking, right? He didn't take the plea deal. If the plea deal was offering 14 years and he didn't take it, that means that they're probably going to try to hit him with like a good 20 ball, something like that. Best case scenario, because you got to think about it like this, right? If the plea deal was 14 years or 12 years and he denied that, how does the state, how does the government look if they sit there and give him the same exact time that was offered in the plea deal that niggas took, that he refused to take and just went to trial with? You know what I'm saying? They're going to kind of look like, oh, well, shit, it didn't matter if he went to trial or not, wasted y'all money and whatever have you. Y'all niggas still gave him the same time that, you know what I'm saying, his codees sat there and got just off of, what would you say? Just off of, after he took it to trial. It's like, y'all sitting there giving him, shit, my bad, y'all. I caught a brain fart real quick. I was thinking about some other shit in my head while I was talking. Fuck that bitch, bro. Fuck that bitch. But yeah. If they sat there and gave them 14 years for taking a plea, if they sit there and give KayFlock 14 years for the plea, and he didn't take a plea and he took it to trial, it's going to kind of make them look weak You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we did, he didn't take the plea, he took us to trial. Now, he did get found guilty with the same things that these people got found guilty for, which is his co-defendants, right? How the hell are we going to sit there and give him the same exact time that they got? We got to sit there and hit him over the head. We got to make an example. We got to sit there and show people, don't go to trial when it comes to us, because we're going to sit there and hit you with this instead of you just getting this amount of time. So I don't know. We're going to have to wait until July. We're going to have to sit here and wait until July to really sit there and see which route they're going to go about it. However, I think they might go towards 20. This is what makes me think about this, right? Because it's like, what if KayFlock took the plea deal when it came to count 1, count 4, and count 5, and just only took to trial count 2 and count 3? He would literally just be facing the same exact time that his Codees is kind of facing, to keep it a buck. If he would have just took the plea, for count 1, count 4, and count 5, he low-key would be facing the same exact time that his Codees, Zay Munna, and the E. Roy guy was facing, which is 11 years, which on KayFlock's papers looks perfect. He's already 4 years in. Say if he sat there in court 138 months, 12 years, 4 years knocked off of that. You know what I'm saying? Now we're at what, 8 years? Shit, and that's off of time served, right? Let's say good behavior, that'll probably knock like a good 2 years off. We would be looking at like, oh, son is about to get off like in like 6 years, 5-ish, 6 years. KayFlock about to be home, you know what I'm saying? But he took all of these charges to trial. If he would have just took count 1, count 4, and count 5 to trial, just took a plea on these accounts, you know what I'm saying? 1, 4, and 5. He would literally be and sat there and took the trial, the count 2 and count 3, and spanked it, because he spanked those. Now we know he spanked those. The first live that we talked about on Friday, he was still guilty for this right here. So we're gonna have to change this one. Hold on. Not guilty. Hold on. Not guilty. Yeah, we're going to have to change this one because he's not guilty of this one now. So, boom. If he only would have did count 1, count 4, count 5, and just took the plea on those and spanked these two, then he would have been facing the same exact time that his Codees is facing. And let's say if he even got those 14 years, it would have been like, okay, 4 years, he was ready in. That's time served. Let's say good behavior, whatever have you, this, that, and the third. That's probably going to knock 3 off of that. He'll be home in 8 years. Possibly less. But now, the fact that he took it to trial, guys, this is where I'm a little worried for KayFlock. Because I feel like they're going to try to make an example out of him for going to trial with them, y'all. This is what I'm saying. I think they're going to sit there and go out their way to try to make an example out of him for even taking all of that to trial. If he would have just only took the murder case to trial and said, you know what, I'll take pleas when it comes to those other counts, then he just would have been facing the same exact years as Codees was facing after he spanked those charges. You feel me? So, what are y'all saying in the comment section? What's going on? What y'all saying in the chat? What's going on? What's going on in there? He said you can't take pleas and take one to trial on indictments. You can't choose, bro. Brother. He got locked up. Not locked up. He turned himself in on the murder at first. Now, the U.S. government was smart enough to come in. They were smart enough to come in and then wrap the whole shit up within the RICO. They was able to do that. They was able to do that. They was able to do that. Now, granted, yes, once they came in and wrapped the whole thing up in a RICO, yes, at that point, it's all wrapped up in one. Okay, I'll give you that. You got a point. I'm saying on a hypothetical speaking level. If he would have just sat there and the only thing they would have been able to sit there and hit him with was just these type of charges right here, just take the plead on those, and he would have spanked out the murder. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. All right. Am I thinking more in a a fairy tale hypothetical mindset when it comes to it? Yes. 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 This is me being hopeful. This is me being hopeful for KayFlockington, okay? We can all dream, can we? we can dream, can we? We can all dream. We can all dream, you know. It's easy to imagine that, you know. Like, we can all dream, but this is all I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. I'm just separating the counts, just separating the charges or whatever have you on what he possibly could have been Gucci for, what he possibly couldn't have been Gucci for. However, at the end of the day, congratulations to KayFlock for getting that count 3 drop. As far as I'm concerned, if I was KayFlock, I would be in there drinking, what is it, hooch? Yeah, drinking hooch, smoking a K2, because that's what they got in there, right? K2, smoking the K2, it's a celebration. It's a celebration, gang. Nigga said facts on a hypothetical, you right, but I thought you was being... Did you just tune in? Did you just tune in? If you just tuned in, then all right, I forget. But this is what I was basically trying to say this whole time. On a thinking, imaginary, you know what I'm saying? Dragon Tales type shit. Dragon Tales, dragon. It's all just go to dragon. And a dragon land. You know what I'm saying? Like we sit there with just, doing a little hypothetical thinking or whatever have you. You know what I'm saying? Hopeful thinking. You know what I'm saying? Dreaming. Dreaming, I believe, is what they call it, right? Dreaming. 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 But at the end of the day, the honest truth is this. This is great news. This is absolutely great news for KayFlock, because at the end of the day, even though technically it still on paper says fighting life. The reason why I say that is because right here. Right here. Technically, still facing up to life, all right? Because count 4 has not been thrown out, okay? And as you can see right here towards the end, mandatory minimum sentence increases depending upon the type of firearm involved, whether more than one offense was committed, and whether a gun was simply possessed or was brandished or discharged. Now, they got him for that brandish part. They said, yep, he's guilty for the firearm shit. They said guilty. Discharge, of course. They said, yep, that's what happened. So, yeah. He's not out the woods yet, all right? He's not out the woods yet, gang. I ain't gonna hold you. He's not out the woods yet. Now, that RICO charge, right? The first one right here that we were speaking on, the RICO, the first charge guilty, this by itself holds 20 years. By itself, the RICO. The count 1 RICO guilty, that by itself holds 20 years. So if we're sitting there speaking about this gun charge and the RPT shootings at the end of the day, they got multiple shootings that they're sitting there trying to slap on K, all right? Multiple of them. And as you can read what we just sat there and read, right? Whether more than one offense was committed and whether gun was simply possessed or was brandished. Hold on. No, that's not the part. type of firearm, that's not a third, served to any other sentence. Mandatory minimum sentence increases depending upon the type of firearm involved, whether more than one offense was committed. They're jacking that more than one offense was committed when it came to him brandishing and discharging the gun, okay? That's what they're saying. That is what they're saying, guys. Okay, so the RICO itself holds like 20 years. These shootings right here, RPT shooting, gun charge, RPT shooting, count 4, is the main one that we should focus on. As you can see right here, punishment ranges from at least 5 years up to life imprisonment. So we don't know which way they're gonna go when it comes to this one. We're not sure which way they're gonna go when it comes to this one, but I don't want to be too negative. I don't want to be too negative when it comes to this. RICO, you're already dealing with like around 20 years, all right? Do I think he's gonna get a 20-year sentence for the RICO? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Even if they're trying to paint him as the gang leader and everything and this, that, and the third, I just personally don't think so, right? RPT shooting, the shit that we just read or whatever have you, who knows where they're gonna go with that? That could sit there and be, they could probably be like, all right, that's 5 years, 3 years. Who knows which way they want to sit there and go with that? The gun charge is just a gun charge. Y'all know what the gun charge is. That's like what? Yo, chat, what is that? Like 2 to 5? Like he might sit there and be able to get like just 2 with that. They're gonna run it all consecutively with each other. And I'm thinking 20. I'm thinking 20. Shave off the 4. Consider good time or whatever have you. Served or whatever have you. And this is where we possibly can end up at. However, I don't care what any of you guys say. This is good news. All right? Because he's definitely, most definitely not getting life. He's not getting life. He's not getting life. Someone said the gun is minimum 3. Yeah. 3 years on the gun. You know what I'm saying? 3 years on the gun. They say about the RPT shootings. You know what I'm saying? That varies. You can see whichever way that goes when it comes to that. And let's say the RICO. You know what I'm saying? He's facing 20 with that, but I don't think they're going to give him 20 for the RICO. I don't think they're going to give him 20 for the RICO. I don't think so. But again, that's me just thinking, speculating. I don't know for sure. The only thing that really killed them when it came to the RPT shootings and everything, like I just showed you guys, was this right here. Like I showed you people. This part. That count 4 firearms offense. As of count 4, how do you find defendant? The guilty and then the brandish. And the discharge shows you right up here. If it was simply possessed or was brandished or discharged. So we don't know which way they're going to possibly go when it comes to that part right there. I ain't going to hold you. We don't know which way they're going to go with that one right there. We're not sure. But if you ask me, this is good news. This is good news for KayFlockington. I'm not going to hold you. This is good news for KayFlockington.
Surrounded by shooters, what the fuck do you think that shit made me? I throw every time niggas know I'm a noodle. Really shot, he gon' lie like he crazy. Niggas spanked out Kenny Capone with a school. I was punching him up on the bench, shit was crazy. Oh shit, that's an intruder. I'ma put him on TV, I ain't talking no Swayze. Like free